Aggies movie page. This is part two of XXX Retrospective. Retrospective. Um, after Xander's having his house party, with the stunt and everything, and people are having fun. Next thing you know, a SWAT team, a strike team storms in, basically coming in here and Xander being the smartass, saying, "Hey, come on, I'll keep it down, all right." And he gets shot in the chest with a dart. It ends up being a trank dart. He looks at it and he just says, "It's only a Corvette," and just passes out. When we next see Xander, he's actually at a local diner, basically all passed out, waking up wondering what the hell's going on. So he sees a truck, sees the guy next to him, a trucker. He sees this waitress, older, bigger gal, giving him a cup of coffee. Asks him if he wants a coffee. He's like, "Yes, please." And then walks away in high heels, which is kind of, he just notices it, like, what's going on. And then he sees a guy in a suit and tie reading a Wall Street financial page. And he notices several different things is not right, just out of the ordinary. So basically, he just looks at the gal who's shaking and says, "Everything all right, ma'am?" "Yeah." He gets his cup of coffee and he looks at it and it says 911. He then points at the trucker who's been eyeballing him and he says, "Is there a problem?" "No problem." Next thing you know, the Wall Street guy and the trucker pull out guns and basically are threatening to rob the establishment. And so basically the guy is just basically giving Xander shit. Xander grabs him, smashes his head against the countertop of the diner, and then the guy with the gun just tells him to stay back. But yet, rather than shooting Xander, basically just has no idea, how to, just doesn't know what he's doing. So Xander just takes the gun, hits him in the face, and then just takes the gun. He looks around and then he sees a mysterious man. He happens to be Gibbons, clapping and laughing and just saying, "Well done, Mr. Cage." And then asks him, "How the hell did you know about this?" And he just says, flat out and simple, "He got a stockbroker reading the Sunday Times. He got a stockbroker reading a newspaper on Sunday when the markets close." "Okay, I understand that, but I'll bite." And then he got the stick-up man with the cop-issued Beretta, but where you blew it was her. My aunt was a waitress for 40 years, and my aunt was a career waitress for 40 years. You never wear high heels. She'd have blisters the size of pancakes. Oh, one more thing. There's nothing but blanks in these guns. So then he asks him, "Okay, pretty boy, it's your turn. What the hell do you want from me?" Basically, he just laughs and just says, "I was a test, Mr. Cage, and I want you to work for me." "What?" So the next thing you know, some smart ass crony comes out and basically just says he has a piss poor attitude. Should we send him back? Hell no, I like his attitude. Let's take this next level. Set up a satcom, and basically these guys are setting up the next test. Xander says, "This is bullshit. I'm out of here. Pay for my windows. I'm done." And then, of course, the waitress gal pulls out a trank gun, shoots him in the chest. He passes out in a booth, pulls it out once again, and basically Gibbons says, "Why is it always the assholes who pass the test?" And then he passes out once again. Xander wakes up, this time in a cargo plane with two other guys, wondering what the hell's going on. And then he just looks at the boys and says, "You guys been in any diners lately?" They all start laughing. And then they're all dropped off in South America with no weapons, no food, no water, no nothing. Just drop there, have fun. And so while they're there, they get captured by a drug cartel. And so while this is happening, they're all wondering, okay, now what do we do? Xander wakes up hung like this, like, "How you doing, fellas?" Well, the other guys are tied up. Meanwhile, that Jefe pulls up in a nice Ford Explorer, gets out, and then, of course, when he walks into the room, it ends up being Danny Trejo playing El Jefe, which I thought was cool. I was like, "Hey!" I didn't know his name at the time, but I always knew him as that big, burly Mexican guy with the mustache. And it says on his chest. So basically, he asks Xander, he pulls out a machete and he asks Xander, "I want to know something." "Oh, you DEA?" "No, I don't know what the hell's going on. So leave me the hell alone with your fake accent. We cut off your, liars, we cut off their feet like chickens and watch them dance on them idiots. That's fantastic." Then he puts the machete to his nose, like, "Problem is that machete smells like real blood." And that's when Xander knows that this is not a test. They are really going to get killed if they don't do something fast. So while this is happening, Xander knocks him out. The boys help him take down Danny Trejo, and then they all try to escape. One guy, this fat blonde-haired guy, runs for the hills, saving his own ass, while another guy, TJ, gets shot in the leg, and Cage has to figure a way to save him. The cartel and the army are fighting each other, and while this is happening, Cage gets on a dirt bike and literally runs around the whole area, doing jumps, doing big, DMX, big, supercross, motocross style jumps with it. From jumping over a house, jumping over a barn, jumping in between these two barbed wire fences, to taking out this punk ass guy with fake gold teeth who knocked out Cage, and Cage ends up whooping his ass and knocks him off his high board. He finally gets finally outsmarts the helicopter he's been chasing him. He gets the TJs, like, I got us some reels. Only problem is they're captured by Navy SEALs. The next morning, Gibbons is there to find Xander and ask him something. Of course, Xander's not in the best of spirits and just basically looks at him like, well, if it isn't Frankenstein, I'll cuff you so I can kick your ass. And so, basically, he just says, well, Axe, I want you to do a job for me. Do a job? You almost got us killed. And then then of course the little punk-ass lackey shows up, says, it was my idea. How you like that? And of course, Xander headbutts him, breaking the prick's nose. Of course, Gibbons drops him down by kicking him in the back of his knee, and he says, damn, you're quick for an old man. Get up. And that's when he just basically tells them, I want you to do a job for me. You get to pay back Uncle Sam for all the freedom you've done. And so he just says, first of all, I want you to go to, I want you to get on a plane, go to Prague, meet, dirty uncivilian, dirty, dangerous uncivilian, people like you. Hold up. My people will tell you to kiss my ass, Scarface. And then basically, Gibbons tells him this long monologue about, normally I put a gun to your head, but I'm afraid you wouldn't do that. And so he goes on this monologue telling him, you ever seen lions locked up in a cage? You see them going away? Leavenworth will do that to him, man. No more mountains to climb and no more oceans to surf. Xander tells him, bullshit, you've got nothing on me. I noticed you got 3 X's tattooed on the back of your neck. Well, that's appropriate since you're looking at 3 strikes. Grand theft, larceny, not larceny, I can't remember. It was grand theft for stealing the car. There was public endangerment. And then finally, his bridge stunt. If you do that, I'll make all these little transgressions go away. So, why don't you call yourself XXX? Walks away and says, so, you want to get on a plane, XXX? Always kiss my ass, your final offer. So Xander decides, all right, screw it, I'll go to Prague. And then he goes to Prague. He is tasked with finding out these guys who run a nightclub who happen to be Anarchy 99. And while he's there, he ends up meeting 2 escorts. One guy's named Ivan, another guy's named Ivan. The Ivans. And also he has to meet this detective, I forget his name, but this little rat bastard, who basically tries to order him around and tells him, sit down. I told you to sit. I was on a plane for 12 hours. I think I'll stand, dude. And this little midget bastard basically just tries to tell him, I want you to do this and do that. Do what you gotta do and get the hell out of my country. And Cage just says, look, man, I don't give a shit what you Cage is. I really don't care who does this. And frankly, if you're gonna shoot somebody, why don't you shoot the monkey that bought you that suit? I'm gonna lay down. I'll see ya. So later they go to the club undercover, which Cage just says to hell with it, meets with Yorgi and his crew, and automatically sells out the detective. So he asks him, why did you do that? And I figured, well, nobody likes cops in their nightclub, so it'd be a hell of a lot cooler. Meanwhile, Koya's just staring down Cage, just like, oh. And he says, is this guy gonna help me? And he asks him, what's your name? Sandy Cage. And Koya's just like, oh my god. Dude, I am a huge fan of your work. You are amazing. Skateboard, snowboard, motorbike. You are amazing. Thank you. So automatically he's got a fan and Koya, Yorgi's little brother. So they talk and then they end up doing business. And while they're doing business, X meets Yelena, played by Asia Argento, and they don't exactly hit it off on the best of terms. So obviously he gets the numbers and they're saying, this is what we're going to do. I need you to get me 6 cars, if you can do that. All right. I'll do $3 million. Done. So, and Gage is now in. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the movie because I'm chewing up all my minutes, but To me, it was a hell of a good movie. I like the way it opened. I love the way how it ended with Gavin Rossdale singing his theme song for the movie Drumlin over this title sequence for the three X's, which I thought was badass. To me, it was a great movie, and when I heard they were going to do a sequel to part two, I was like, yes. And then I heard Vin dropped out of it, which really broke my heart. I was like, damn, dude. But he decided not to do that. And, he decided to do Riddick instead. So that's when he said no to. That's when he said no to Too Fast, Too Furious, and no to XXX-2. And then I heard Ice Cube was going to take over. I'm like, oh man, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. And then I saw the trailer for part two, and they decided to go all political with it and call it XXX State of the Union. And so the characters, you take out like the character's traits. It's a new guy, so he's not, he's a former Navy SEAL. He's not an extreme sports junkie. He not no Daredevil stuff. I mean, they do some stunts, but basically it's more political. 3 Days of the Condor stuff, and the soundtrack wasn't even all that great. And I just remember going to see this movie with kind of high expectations and being let down a little. But to me, they did the best they could with salvaging the sequel with, without the star of the original and with the new guy. And even though you brought back some of the original characters like Augustus Gibbons and the nerd, I can't think of his name for the life of me, Shavers, still without Vin Diesel, it just wasn't all that great. So, nothing against Ice Cube. I thought he did the best job with what he had. I give Lee Tamahori credit with directing the movie. That since Rob Cohen didn't come back, he only produced it. And I give Willem Dafoe credit for being the new villain instead of an unknown name guy. So, I mean, there's that, but I mean, they had some redeeming qualities. I love the fact they played Velvet Revolver song, Dirty Little Thing, and the trailer was like the best thing about the movie. But to me, just changing the tone of the film just really didn't work. I just didn't like what they did. I mean, I know a lot of people will give me guff for saying, well, Captain America Civil War, Captain America the Winter Soldier changed the tone of the movie. Well, it's like, yeah, but it was still Captain America. It wasn't, we're doing a Captain America movie, but Bucky is going to be playing Captain America. And there's another guy, it's like, well, you can't do that because Bucky's the Winter Soldier, It's like, it makes no damn sense. You'd rather have Sam Wilson play Captain America and then him going up against the Winter Soldier. So it just would make no sense at all. So I'm happy and I'm glad that Vin came back, and I'm glad that there is a XXX-3. And I know a lot of people aren't too fond of it and they think it's dribble, but hey, I love the original, and that's what I'm going for. And plus, with Donnie Yen, Ruby Rose, Tony Jaa, Michael Bisping, and that gal Nina Dubois from The Vampire Diaries, and Toni Collette joining the cast, I was like, okay, cool. And a couple other guys, I have no idea who the hell they are, but and Gibbons is coming back, so I give him credit. DJ Caruso is doing the movie. He did Disturbia and Eagle Eye and I Am Number 4. He was going to do G.I. Joe 3, but he turned it down to this movie instead. So, he's done some action movies, so I'll give him credit. No, that's all I can say. So, like I said, I am going to go see that movie, and I am going to do a review about it. But right now, I just want to think about, the original. And, one more thing. I mentioned they did a 10-minute tie-in movie. It was the worst thing I've seen. They got some Mexican stunt double named Christian Lupo to play Xander, and then the gal from the original, the video game gal, Jordan King, to come by, and it was just the dumbest shit ever. Basically, all it was just this, guy standing from the back of his head, and every time he said something, it was dialogue that Vin Diesel had said, or him with an Uzi and that big-ass pimp fur coat, and him just like, just a thing I'm gonna do for my country. It's just the dumbest shit ever. I mean, that was supposed to be like how Xander Cage wasn't supposed to be in XXX-2. The girl gets kidnapped by Willem Dafoe's military guys and his Lieutenant Bama. And the thing is, Sergeant Cobb, whatever. The thing is, he goes inside his apartment, it gets blown up, and the back of his head from his ears all the way here with the XXX logo is the only thing that remains. And Bama grabs us like, Xander. He had nothing between his ears. Looking back, it was the dumbest thing ever. I don't know why the hell they filmed it, and especially with some stunt double playing Vin Diesel, it was the worst thing that ever happened. So, I know they were trying to do it to, circle everything, but to me, it was really stupid, and I just thought it was dumb on Sony's part. So, yeah, if you have the extended cut, that's fine, but that was the worst thing they ever did. So, I hope they come up with a hell of a good idea of how Xander survived, but they probably will. Anyways, thanks you guys. Bye.